This next set of formulas are called the product to sum formulas, and there's of course the sum to product formulas. Here's an example. Express 3x times the sine of 5x as a sum of trig functions. So the formulas, you'll notice the angle A is the first one, B is the second one, and there's either cosine times cosine, sine, 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 cosine, or cosine, sine. And then these are their respective pieces. Noticing that now we're going to add or subtract those two angles together and put them into either adding the two trig functions or subtracting the two trig functions. All right, first one is sine of 3x times sine of 5x. So the formula is going to be 1/2 cosine of I'm doing this one right here. A minus b minus cosine of a plus b. So 1/2 times cosine of 3x minus 5x minus cosine of 3x plus 5x. Okay, it gives us 1/2 times cosine of negative 2x minus cosine of 8x. Now, if you remember, and hopefully you do, because you saw your cheat sheet, the cosine of a negative angle, cosine of negative theta, according to our identities, is the same thing as cosine of the positive value. So this can actually be just 1/2 times cosine of positive 2x minus cosine of 8x. Now, you cannot simplify that further. You cannot add that 2x minus the 8x and get 6x. This is inside the function. That 2x is inside the function, and that 8x is inside the function. So that's it right there. That's the new form of it. Okay, 11 cosine 3x times cosine of 5x. That's our A, and that's our B. So our formula says cosine cosine of A plus B plus cosine of A minus B. So 1/2 cosine of A plus B plus cosine of A minus B. All right, plugging in what we got. Cosine of 3x plus 5x plus cosine of 3x minus 5x times 1/2. I'm just simplifying that cosine. And again, we've got that negative 2x inside there. So this right here is the formula. Cosine of negative theta equals the cosine of theta. So this is going to become 1/2 cosine of 8x plus cosine of positive 2x. And that's it. Now, we've got actual values in there, and this is kind of where it comes in handy. So we've got sine of 15 times cosine of 15. We still have an a and a b. They just happen to be the same value. So sine cosine, the formula is sine of a plus b plus sine of a minus b. So 1/2 sine of a plus b, sine of a minus b. Was it plus or minus here? I think it was plus, but I'm going to go back and double check. Okay, plugging in what we know. A is 15 plus b is 15. Fill in my a and b. Now that we actually have values, we can get down to one single actual answer. So right here, this is 30. Now the sine of 30, I can figure that one out. What about this? This right here is 0. And I also know sine of 0. So sine of 30 is 1/2 plus the sine of 0, which is just 0. Looks like 1/2 times 1/2 or 1/4. That's where it gets useful. Okay, a couple more examples. Cosine means here's my A, here's my B. That'll be cosine of 3x plus 7x plus cosine of 3x minus 7x times 1/2. So 1/2 cosine of 8x plus cosine of negative 4x. But we know that we can drop that negative when it's on cosine. When it comes to sine, it's not going to drop off. It's going to move out in front. So cosine of 8x plus cosine of 4x. All right, 3 cosine 37.5 cosine times cosine of 7.5. So we've got an A, we've got a B. 3 times 1/2 cosine of 37.5 plus 7.5 plus cosine of 37.5 minus 7.5. Right, these 3 and this 1/2 are going to become 3/2. This is cosine of 45 plus cosine of 30. Oh, we know those values. 3/2 times cosine of 45, that's root 2 over 2, plus cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2. All right, now here comes the math arithmetic part of it. I'm going to join these inside into one set, one fraction, right? Then I'm going to multiply straight across. Now be careful on this top because there's two things, the square root of 2 and the square root of 3 over 2 times 2, which is 4. No, I'd accept it that way, but you could also distribute. Oops. And write it as 2 separate fractions. Really doesn't matter. I'm okay with that one right there too. Okay, going the other way, if you have a sum, you can now write it as a product. It's basically that formula going back. So it looks like we've got sine of 2x minus sine of 4x. So this will be our A, that'll be our B. And we're looking at this formula right here. So 2 times the cosine of A plus B, so 2x plus 4x over 2 times the sine of 2x minus 4x over 2. Right, this right here comes down to 6x over 2, and it's the cosine 2 times the sine of negative 2x over 2. Right, simplifying, that's 2 cosine of 3x times sine of negative x. Now, sine of negative x, the formula in our trig identities was that sine of negative theta equals negative sine of theta. So this guy right here is going to become negative sine of x. And it stays the same. Now this negative right here is going to be confusing and I might end up thinking that it's subtract. So I'm actually going to bump that negative out in front. Everybody's being multiplied, and when you take a positive 2 times a positive cosine times a negative sine, you end up with a negative 2 cosine of 3x sine of x. Okay, sine of 7x plus sine of 3x. There's our A and there's our B. Let's see where we are at. Plus 2 sine of A plus B cosine of A minus B. 2 times the sine of A plus B over 2 times the cosine of A minus B over 2. Okay, let's plug it in. 2 times sine of a plus b 7x plus 3x divided by 2 times the cosine 7x minus 3x over 2. Right here we've got 10x over 2 or 5x. This one is 4x over 2, which is 2x. So 2 sine 5x times the cosine of 2x. So cosine plus, so 11x is A, 5x is B. Formula, a simple one, A plus B over 2, A minus B over 2, cosine, cosine. So 2 cosine of A plus B over 2 times the cosine of A minus B over 2. All right, here we go. This is 11x plus 5x, 16x, divided by 2 is 8x. Okay, this one is 11x minus 5x over 2, or 6x over 2, which is 3x. That's it. Okay, those are the examples. It's a nice, quick, short, easy section. You just have to have the formulas.